y'all. I'm Shannon O'Hara, and this is one of 4 little extra videos I'm going to be making for the sexual consciousness or conscious sexualness class, teleclass that I've got coming up. So it was really interesting creating this class and looking at it for myself, because this is a new departure for me. This is the first time I'm going to be formally conducting a class on the topic of sex, sexualness, sexual awareness, and it's been interesting looking at what I want to present, what comes up for me around it, and then talking to so many other people about what's going on for them in this area. And sex, sexualness, sexuality, relationship are, the most thought about, talked about areas, but also the most unconscious, most difficult, and most insane areas. So I've had the pleasure of getting to facilitate a lot of really amazing people to be more sane in this area, and I've had the amazing pleasure of also getting to be facilitated by my dad, Gary Douglas, to have more clarity in this area and more of me. So I'd love to share that with you guys. And today, for this short video, I want to talk about sexual consciousness in regards to children. And that's one of the most controversial subjects in regards to sex and sexualness and stuff, because there's so many do's and don'ts around that. And it was really interesting. I'm here in Brisbane, Australia, and Gary and Dane are facilitating the Foundation Level 1 class here. And I think it was 2 days ago, the sexual content of the foundation class got brought up. And it was so interesting how people started asking questions around, what do I do with my kids? What do I do when my kids are, playing with their genitals in public? What do I do when my children are sexually inappropriate? And then that just spiraled into a whole conversation about, like, how do we educate? How do we sexually educate children? How were you sexually educated as a child? And unfortunately, we don't actually receive a sexual education. We receive people's insanities, people's judgments, people's resistances, and people's just bizarreness in that area as kids, rather than actually being sexually educated as children. So what would you be like if you were actually sexually educated with kindness, with information, with patience, and with consideration? Meaning, how do you make sex a positive thing for kids, not a shameful thing, not a disgusting thing, not a forbidden thing, but something that is part of life, part of what bodies get to enjoy, and giving children the energies, the information, and the awarenesses that are appropriate for them when it's appropriate for them. So everything that brings up for all of you guys, we just stir in and create it. Right and wrong, good and bad, all 9 pod, poc, shorts, boys and beyonds. And again, it's like, what would you be like? What would your sex life be like? What would your body be like? What would your being be like now? If you were actually consciously sexually educated, empowered as a child, right? Not through copulation, but through information, through awareness, through the willingness of your parents or whoever your primary caregivers were to be open with you about this area, rather than, unfortunately, so much of the shutdown that goes on around this area. So could you imagine a world where the topic of sex, sexualness, copulation, and joy with bodies was seen as an asset, as a great gift, as a kindness, and as the joy that each and every one of us has available to us just because we have a body, rather than so much of the other shutdown that goes on. So what gift can you be to the world in a sexual way? What sexual education can you gift to the world? And what sexual education can be gifted to you through other bodies, through your body, through other beings, through the universe, and through consciousness? So join me for the conversations in sexual consciousness. Join me for the conscious sexualness telecall to undo the very dense, very deep, very strange areas where so many of us get shut down, and begin to access again the forbidden sexual energies that, when you have them, give you the potency to change all reality. Thanks so much, guys.